Jayapal. On a cold, foggy morning, we started for Jaipur. Our main objective was try and photograph the leopards of Jhalana, but my three companions had not visited Jaipur at all. It was their first time. So, along with leopards, the forts and other historical places, as well as places of local interest, were also a part of our itinerary. We started on this cold, foggy morning. The visibility was very poor, but the excitement was the new expressway from Ambala till Kotputli, where the speed limits were 100 kilometers per hour, and it is genuinely an expressway. Driving on this road is magical. By the time we reached Narnaul, the fog had vanished and the sun was peaking. The expressway is lined by mustard fields resplendent in their yellow flowers, a sight to behold. This expressway continues up to Kotputli, where it meets Delhi-Jaipur expressway, and Jaipur is about 100 kilometers from Kotputli. So, as we raced along, passing through, we made a pit stop at one of the Mango Masala Twist restaurants in the rest of while. Next morning, we went to City Palace, a part of the palace of the erstwhile royal family, which they have converted into a museum with all the curios and artifacts from their forefathers, courts and armories. You get to see the grandeur of architecture and those beautifully appointed halls and hallways. Since it is still owned by the erstwhile ruling family, the attendants are resplendent in their typical Rajasthani uniforms and the guides are very courteous and kind. Yes, please do not forget to hire a guide because you might know all about the history, but the twist that the guides will give you. They describe such fictitious or maybe real events, but with such conviction that as if they had almost been there 300 years ago. Then, in the city palace, there is a restaurant run by the royal family. The ambience is magical. We decided to sit in the courtyard since it was nice and sunny. The service is impeccable and the food finger-licking good. If you go there, try eating here. Yeah, it's a fine dining restaurant, not inexpensive, but they serve amazing food. Next, we went to Hawa Mahal, the Palace of Winds, an architectural wonder designed in such a fashion that the royal court and the family could withstand the scorching heat of the desert. 300 years ago, it was designed so that the airflow keeps it cool, and from the outside, it is designed like the fabled crown of Krishna with 365 windows, one for each day. The marbled colonnades and those jharokas, those little windows from which the king and his queen and other royal ladies could peep out and look down into the courtyard or onto the road. which is now obviously very busy and choked with traffic, especially the e-rickshaws. But at that time, all the festivities and passing parades, etc., were witnessed by them in cool comfort despite the scorching heat of the deserts. Within the Hawa Mahal, you see some people singing, and the tourists, since it is a very touristy place and a very touristy thing to do to go to Hawa Mahal, some tourists join in with the singing and dancing. It's a great sight to see, and of course, those fantastic tales as told by your guide. Believe me, they will keep you in splits, and it's worth every penny you pay them, whether at City Palace or wherever. Here is this courtyard where some local artists were performing, and the tourists had joined in, shaking away. From there, we decided to walk up to Jantar Mantar. It's an astronomical observatory built in the 18th century by Maharaja Jai Singh II of Jaipur. It is another scientific wonder. It has the world's largest sundial. We will come to it in a while. But this whole place has instruments for measuring various astronomical phenomena and directions, etc., etc., the declination of the sun and movement of celestial bodies across the sky. In the central part somewhere, there are 12 sundial looking yantras or instruments made of marble and stone. Each showing a different astrological sign, because at that time the kings were quite hung up with astrology per se for the day-to-day running of the court and the state matters, as well as the birth of children. Next, here is this world's largest sundial, and it is accurate. It shows the time of up to 2 seconds. You can actually see the shadow move quite rapidly, and it was here that I met an American couple, and who were absolutely fascinated by the whole thing. He said 300 years ago they could count on everything, and he pointed at his Apple Watch and says, which I can do now, but they already knew it 300 years ago. Well, my brain gets blown every time I see these things. From Jantar Mantar, we decided to take an e-rickshaw back home, or not rather back home, but part of the way. It was quite a nice experience, and one could just zip through the pink city part of Jaipur, or the old city from from Jantar Mantar to the Badi Chopad, as they call it, or the large crossing. The next place of interest was Jaigarh Fort, the fort just above the Amir Palace. This was actually the garrison. while the royal family and officials lived in the Amir Palace, which is just below this. And this place is of interest because of three things. First, it has the world's largest hand cast cannon called Javelin, which we will just see in a short while. The second is the huge 600-year-old rainwater harvesting system, which could store up to 30 million liters of water. Incredible, this thing, with 3-stage purification. This here is Javan, the largest hand-cast cannon in the world, which could shoot a cannonball weighing 50 kilograms for about 30 kilometers away. It was fired only once and never again. Since then it has been nicely parked overlooking the ramparts of Jaipur Fort. Yes. There is a 4-stage filtration, and then the water is stored in a covered tank. We drove down from Jaipur. You can see the Jaipur on the left hand side, and on the right hand side the yellow building is the Amir Palace, where the royal family lived. Once again, our guide enthralled us with the tales of yesteryears. Most of them sound quite fanciful, but still, they are really a treat. And I believe me, I'm repeating myself. Do hire a guide, and they don't cost you the earth. Do hire a guide. You will have a better and a more hilarious walk through the history. They kind of spice it up. So we walked up into the 48, and at one time elephants used to be allowed here, but now the elephants come here only for a few hours in the morning, and then they have been shifted to an elephant village. So we went up to the fort, and we were told all the fanciful stories of human sacrifice, later replaced by goat sacrifice, and then also the Diwan Khas, the chamber of firehouse, where the ceiling is lined with mirrors, correlating it to the films which were shot there, and the saffron garden and the lake. All the forts have lakes or water bodies because in the desert, harvesting water and collecting it was absolutely essential for the survival of the cities and the garrisons. So from the chambers, the fabled chamber of kings, we looked down onto the saffron garden, and as we were walking inside the residential palace, we were told to wait because the pre-wedding shoot was going on and a young couple were getting themselves photographed, perhaps posing as the prince and the princess. Yet we all also got the de rigueur picture. So, just excusing ourselves and walking past the wedding, we reached the Diwan Pass and the mirror-lined ceilings and all the fancy tales of Anarkali and whatever, and the carvings. And the story of where the queens stood in front of a mirror to be photographed. 1600s. Sometimes the guides take it to the extremes, but yes, it's really great, absolutely wonderful listening to their tall tales. And we took our picture by making a stand in that particular place. So we walked into the inner courtyard of the residences of the queens and the residence of the king, from where he looked down onto his frolicking queens and concubines. Supposedly from this jharoka, this window here, and that's the covered area with the solid and dance and sand. Finally, we walked up we drove down to Jal Mahal. Again, another water palace in the middle of the lake, accessible only by boat. It was perhaps one of the pleasure gardens of the Queen's. Thank you for watching.